Hello everyone on the internet and thanks for tuning in.
And welcome to another episode with me, Master Bushido, and with my Toku Bros, Flayvaman!
Baku Baku Bleeding Hearrrrt. That's all I got.
Yeah, I noticed. This is like one of your most boring one yet. Anyway, what he was attempting to do was probably the finishing or whatever. I have no idea where he even tried to get that from.
Actually.
Whatever. Oh yeah, that. Still rubbish.
That was an awesome OP actually. Go on.
Yeah, still a failed attempt of the opening of Master Kiva.
Kiva!
And just off the record, straight up, I would say this is two of the best Master Rider series I have seen yet. I will say that now,
bruh.
and I'm happy to back it up.
Yeah, man, it was good. I liked it.
Okay, starting off with build-ups and such, like we normally traditionally do. Ladies first.
Yeah, alright, bro. I will say, I didn't watch this as it's been aired, and frankly, I can't. Even though I remember liking it, I'll be totally honest, I don't remember that much about it. I remember reading prior to its airing, they were like, "Oh, this is going to be based on Hollywood monsters," and I'm just like, "Okay." Because, and yeah, I can see you frowning. Basically, you got your Frankenstein, you got your werewolf, you got your sea creature thing. So I was a bit like, alright then. And, obviously you got the main character, which is meant to be like a vampire or something. But, so I wasn't entirely sure how this was going to fit into like a rider theme. Watching it, I can see they use werewolf, vampire, sea monster, Frankenstein, but it was, it wasn't like it was the fourth. The fact is, it was just based on monsters, really, fictional monsters, and I liked how really dark it was. I kind of liked the suits. I kind of liked the dark vibe it gave off. And one thing I know we've discussed a million times is how I liked how they had two timelines running in one story.
Right, we'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, in my case of a build-up, I was like, in fact, I don't think I ever followed J Fusion at the time of this build-up, really, in that I didn't know anything about the Bats theme, the suits or whatever. I just went in with a complete, and that, just...
You didn't know anything?
Just went straight in there, and then nothing, no build-up or whatever, as far as I'm aware. So I go in, and I thought, okay, I hate the theme song. I start watching it. Okay, this looks interesting. A shy guy, all of a sudden, he turns into Master Rider, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting, because normally you have... I'm
assuming when you say you didn't like the opening theme, that you're not a fan of Visual Kei, then?
Who?
The style of music the OP is, the...
Oh, no. This opening, I didn't like.
But do you like that style of music in general, though?
That's the thing, I don't listen to it.
That's exactly what I mean.
Anyway, so from the get-go, after watching the first episode, I was really engrossed into it. Apart from one part.
Go on.
I couldn't give a tosh about oddly enough, the action. Yeah. Ironically, I couldn't give a damn about the action. However, on the flip side, I thought the story was funny as hell. I loved the not choreography, wrong wording. The characteristics, I love the mannerisms, the fact that you got this shy person, all of a sudden he is the Master Rider, and you're like, okay, I did not see that coming. Kudos, I loved it. This, in fact, if I recall, was one of the first proper riders I've ever watched from the beginning. The first one, if I recall, apart from Hibiki, which was another atrocity, but then that's another story. Otherwise, yeah, I loved the characters which we'll develop into, but starting off with yourself, which category would you like to follow through with
Well,
this now.
yeah, going through, well, with how I, watching it overall, just as you were covering, I like the series in how, again, it sort of had the two timelines running. And, I'll be
So
totally
two
honest, the fact
timelines
that I
being the
watched
present.
it, yeah,
So with the present one, and then with the what's it
20
on the
years
past
previous.
before he was born. So it's based on the current character and his father in the past before he was.
Again, I'll be honest, it's been a few years since I've seen Kiba now, but, I did like it, I remember liking it. I kind of thought you had the wonderful organisation, which was a bit disjointed, especially when they're trying to cover a 20-year timeline, 20-year gap timeline, dual storyline going on. I didn't really get much of a sort of morale vibe from the series, but I liked a lot of the themes. The story had good development, especially as it from 20 years ago to present day. Bang guys kind of felt a bit disjointed, but you had like the main guys, the Rook, which was based on pieces. Yes, I will say that like you had because there was only like 2 riders, if I'm correct. That's excluding including movie riders actually. When you talk about Wataru being like the quiet, I'll be the opposite. I kind of saw him becoming a rider because again, it's just like bearing in mind it was the fact that sort of bred for the sort of darkness that was with him. And again, you look at the storyline later on, it reveals that his mother was a fangire. I liked this as part of the story, and it developed his character even more. So I saw him, and I felt right. He's definitely got that rider vibe about him, and there's room for development in his character. And then you look at the previous storyline, and it was a bit disjointed. There wasn't a Kiba in that era, but when they're sort of developing Ixa, etc., you've then got you've got his father. What was his name? Otoya. He was like a really cool character, and I kind of liked how, even though he was the father of Wataru, that their personalities were just polar opposite. I absolutely like that.
I mean, I completely agree in regards to, starting off with the timeline difference, the characteristics-wise, it was like you got more down-to-earth or, sunny kind of ish. And you got Wataru trying to find out himself in the world and so on and so forth. Whereas on the flip side, in the past, you got Otoya, which is this very charismatic, very flamboyant ladies' man kind of kind of guy that, I mean, I just loved it. The fact that he cranks his character up to 20 is just so funny. I loved it. And plus, his banter and every scene there is with him and the wolf, I cracked.
Oh, yeah, there was the characters inside that big castle thing, weren't there? Again, it's been quite a while since I watched it.
I just loved it. I loved it.
I think the guy who played Gururu, the wolf, he's been in a couple of other things as well, though. Yeah.
But aside from that, I think this was one of his majors, as far as I'm aware. But anyway, the point is, they both did a fantastic job. I mean, and also I love the cafe as well. The fact that it was a nice, simple cafe. In regards to the
that's a bit wider cliche, though, isn't it? I mean, the sets overall, I like. I mean, I guess this is normally one of the last things we touch on, but to touch on it now, just for the sheer hell of it, I like the whole church settings, the dark settings, the gothic settings, and in the midst of all that, you've got this simple cafe where the wonderful organisation is.
But the wonderful organisation that here's the thing. I like the fact that they used a wonderful organisation in like a gym, in like a cafe.
I was thinking there was a gym in there, but that was random.
Yeah, I liked
that was for the development of Ixa. I think the cafe
different.
was like a sort of guise, if you will, right?
I just liked the whole. There was no specific base for the wonderful organisation. I just love the fact that, okay, we're going to have a meeting, just join me while I'm doing a bit of exercise kind of thing. We're going to have a meeting.
Okay.
I just loved it. I thought it was it's like a laid-back organization, so that, you know,
Yeah,
fighting for
because you had
justice
like the
kind of
really
thing.
weird guy who actually worked in the cafe, right? There was that weird. I think he was like he was young in the 80s and old in the present day, working in the cafe. Yeah. What did you make? I mean, all right. What did you make of the whole monster theme that Kiba had?
Just before the monster, also in the cafe, I don't know if you noticed, but the cafe master's dog. You can see in the past it was a puppy, and then in the future he's an actually fully grown dog as well. Each time,
I'll be honest, I don't remember that, but okay.
no, they actually do that, and I love that. I love that touch that they actually make sure it's the actual timeline you follow. At the same time, they do when they flip time, you see like the developments of either the dog turning into, the puppy going into a full-aged dog, or like year plates increasing to after 20 years or whatever, but it's a nice addition they do. In regards to the monsters and such, I actually didn't mind the monotonous style color, but if it's a slightly different face.
I liked how the weapons were the main difference, though.
No. Let me start again. What I mean by the monsters of the week I'm referring to, like the Fangaias, I love the fact that it's not your stereotypical monsters of the week, like very different, very colourful, very...
But, you know, their sort of powers, their weapons, the way that they interact with, you know, the past and present, you know, the fact that they kept bringing the same monsters back 20 years apart. Yeah, I mean, it was a bit coincidental, but, you know, I kind of like the way that they were changing certain ways, evolve certain ways.
And their wound also...
20 years apart, yeah.
It's still lingers.
Clever, but, yeah, I mean, especially, I think it was, you know, like, talking about the generals, if you will. There was, I think it was the Rook character that, you know, he was like the badass, I remember. And yeah, he was like the one who had the theme, you know, you saw his actions 20 years apart, sort of being quite similar. I mean, you got the Bishop character who was like more of the brains, really. And then, of course, you got the Queen who basically had her evil way with Otoya, you know. It is what it is. Although, you know, going away from the main storyline, you had Otoya, but then you had, what was her name? Yuri, who ended up being Megumi's mother. I thought that was a really good love story. Yet, you know, I spent most of the series going, right, well, if those two are sort of like charming each other, wouldn't that make Wataru and Megumi brother and sister? So I spent most of the series thinking that. I do remember that. Yet, you know, when it was revealed in the end that Otoya had his way with the Queen, Fangaya, I was just like, dude, what are you doing? You know, so, you know, it was quite tragic in that sense, you know.
But that's half the fun of it.
But at least, you know, Yuri had her happy ending, if you will, some other way. Whatever.
Right. But in regards... No, I was going to say, in regards to, characters covered and slightly story covered, the characters I loved, story I thought was absolutely amazing and dark and surprising.
What did you think of the characters that didn't, yeah, I mean, because again, when it came to Ixa had like quite a few users. So what did you make of the other Ixa users? Because I loved it. I loved the idea that the fact that Yuri did use Ixa at one point, I think.
No, see, here's the thing. In regards to, Ixa being the secondary rider of this show, I love the fact that
because it was sort of manufactured as opposed to Wataru having a bat eventually approach him.
No, I love the fact that this Ixa system is like one of those...
man-made riders.
No, not just that, but it's like an Excalibur, like you have to be worthy of actually using it and to be able to withstand the pressure of it. I
Even
loved
though
it.
it had like loads of users anyway, so you didn't have to
No,
be
no, no.
that worthy, I guess.
But here's the thing. I love the fact that it had so many users. The fact that the way they used it and the persona and style of it was so different that each one had their own style. I loved it.
Okay, yeah, I'll agree with the different styles as well, I guess. What did you make? I mean, I think I touched on this before about the weird sort of Lolita style character. But there was that weird little girl following Wataru around, like living with him in the house.
Don't know
You
about
know?
living, but yeah. No, I mean,
Mm.
I'd say it's like she's
She had some funny lines. I remember that much.
yeah, she had some funny lines, but I felt like she was as a plus one. Let's put it that way. Not to sound
Really,
harsh, I'm not going to say she's a shadow. Maybe that's a harsh way of putting it, but I'd say
I wouldn't
she's
even
like a
call her
plus
fan
one to the show.
service. I mean,
What?
the other female, yeah, like the female riders and everyone, the females at the wonderful organisation, that was fan service, and that was sort of like nicely done. Though I will actually say that there was a lot of hype about how this series had female riders, but they didn't actually do anything extraordinary. It wasn't like Ryuki or Gaim or
No,
the
but
one
the
or two other
point...
series that had it kind of didn't feel right.
No, no, no. The thing is in my opinion, right, I felt, in regards to the females of this series that I see, that I remember, that actually not as stand out, but actually stood out for me, for the series, was Queen, or the Queen Pangaya, and Megumi and her mother Yuri.
Right.
They had that presence that I remember, not for what they did, but how they
They
did.
did it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, in that, they did a good job. Whereas with Wataru's friend, it's like, you have your three main females, in my opinion, plus one.
Alright.
Does that make sense?
But again, because I think she was just meant to be more of an assistant to Wataru, like to help him come to
Yeah.
terms with his power, to make him more social. I mean, again, I think we'll touch on this now, going on sort of like motif.
I
You
mean, saying
had,
that the motif...
like, again, one of the main motifs of the series, apart from like fictional monsters, was music, like classical music. You had the pianist, you got whatever the hell they were doing in that big dragon castle thing. And then there's the fact that Wataru is a violinist, and so was his dad.
See, I love the story, the fact that he has his father's violin in a cabinet, in a glass cabinet,
And then
he
it had
wants to
some sort of key to the future, wasn't it?
not just, no, 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 no. The fact that the whole story, the nice, thank you for reminding me, the whole, how can I say, story of Wataru is that he wants to try and replicate his father's violin because it gives off and resonates a lovely noise to it, or something.
Yeah, no,
rather.
that was whenever there was a problem, and then the bat would appear and bite him.
No, 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 no. But the point is
he
I
had
meant
like a romantic
when he
nostalgia
plays
of
the
his father's
violin,
violin. Yeah.
when he plays the violin, it's nothing like he's ever heard before. That's why he wants to try and recreate that. And that's how the journey progresses in his life, in the whole series, is he wants to try and recreate his father's violin. And as it goes along, he does encounter other people who have somehow met his father or has a problem with their own violin or whatever.
That was
And
quite
I love
clever the way
that. I
they did
love
that.
the fact that there is that father-son link through that violin. Whether it be an object or not, regardless, I love it. It just works.
Okay. Moving on to the actual henshin. I mean, obviously he had his belt. But what did you make of the armor and weapons?
Right. Armor as the default Kiva, I honestly murder.
You what it? I really, even, let alone how it ended up, like, with the cape and stuff.
No, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
I really liked the first look at Kiba. And then I did, yeah, I mean, alright, I liked how later on it became colour orientated, like the green, the
Yes.
purple, the blue.
No, no, no.
And, and it also reflected the fact that he had different weapons, which wasn't quite that common with Ryder. I mean, yeah, it just came off the back of Deno, which did have, like, massively different weapons. Like, the weapons were quite a focal point. So I liked how the weapons were also, even though it came off the back of Deno as well, I liked how the weapons were also sort of pivotal in the way that the character acted and looked, the way that the powers were
changed how they...
yeah, how he changed powered and how he used them.
Yeah, agreed. Because
And
like
and
the blue
again,
one...
where like chess was the theme in the actual castle, he was using chess pieces, wasn't he? So I thought that was quite clever as well.
No, I mean, not just that, but also, like, for instance, just going back to the armor and the color orientation, like, for instance, you've got, like, the blue werewolf sword, for instance. You've got the green merman gun. You've got the purple Frankenstein hammer. Literally. I love the whole, like you say, the characteristic style on their first appearance. Yes, I agree. It was so well done. And even when they mishmashed it, I don't know why, but it actually had a nice... it actually looked good when they, as a one-off, they combined all the colours. So that looked okay.
What did you make of the later forms, like RyuKiva, the old... I can't even remember the name of the final form. Yeah, what did you make of the later ones?
Okay, so you've got Emperor, which is the super form, so to say. I liked his sword. I liked his outfit. I think the cape gave it a nice addition to it. I didn't like the new helm, though, much. I thought it was too gold for my liking.
Okay.
Off the record, I will say this. I didn't really feel that the bike suited Wataru.
I actually really like the bike, and it didn't suit his character, but it definitely suited like the armor. It looked good.
Yes, I'll put it that. I didn't think Wataru suited the bike, but it suited Kiba, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I like how you say this is off the
Cruiser,
record, even though we're recording.
Yeah, for Red Cruiser, I think it suited the series, but not the actual... Anyway, you know what I mean. Right. Dark Kiva I loved. Just straight off, I think, appearance-wise, the best rider of that series. Appearance-wise.
Interesting. Okay, it's quite a strong statement. Did you ever see the film?
I actually did, yes.
What did you make of the additional form in that and the fact that they had a giant Kiba in it?
Giant Kiva I couldn't give a tosh about because I was a part of that. Which additional form do you refer to?
There was one, I think it was like white and blue, I think.
Oh, the snow one. I vaguely remember that, but I guess if I vaguely remember, then there was no point.
We'll cover the movie later, I guess.
Anyway.
Alright, yeah.
Ixa, however, I loved Ixa. I loved the way he had his stages.
I mean, no, I liked the whole development thing of it, but the look of Ixa just felt a bit generic to me.
No. That's the point, though. Do you get the, like, it's like, because it's the wonderful organization, it's like the white and shining armor kind of thing, the white knight.
The white and shining.
Like a chess piece.
Yeah.
A white knight.
Yeah, it just,
really?
I just didn't feel inspired by the look. I mean,
I liked it.
Even watching it, I remember thinking, I'm not inspired by the look. Anyone can use it, anyone can pick it up. Even though it was like, oh, got to test your metal, etc. And you got to prove your worth, as you said earlier. I'm just like, anyone can pick it up. Really. So,
but it's like Ixa had his pre-default, then default, then his super form. Which I actually didn't mind that. I actually like that pre-default. It's almost like a Kabuto-esque style.
No, I got to
Yes.
disagree. I disagree with that. I'd probably
No,
say
no, 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 no,
Kabuto
no. When
had a more, yeah, Kabuto had a more sort of sinister, sort of like Zeta inspired, because again, that was anniversary, yeah, that was like an unofficial anniversary series as well. I wouldn't necessarily compare it to Kabuto, but I can see where you're coming from in general.
in regards to the choreography, I will personally, I'll
No, this is it.
skip Kiva.
I see that on the top list. Again, choreography. It wasn't noteworthy. There was, there was choreography obviously, but there wasn't anything to say. There was no wow factor in its choreography.
But saying that,
Yeah.
the fact that it wasn't too OTT.
I remember, like set wise, mixing choreography with the sets that they used. And I know we spoke about the sets. I remember there was like they were in the football stadium at one point, and they were fighting in the stadium stands. I thought that was a bit weird. So that had some decent choreography to it, but in general, meh.
See, I think the whole story and characters and everyone how they portray the characters overlooks the action, and I'm actually happy with that.
All right. One of the other love triangle stories we didn't talk about was how Garuru also liked Yuri. I think
Yeah,
that was a good
yeah,
story.
that was good. I love that love
And then you
triangle. That
got
was actually
how they interact. Because there was I can't even remember who was, because you had Garuru as that guy. You had the sea bass was a boy. I can't remember who the purple form was. The one for Frankenstein.
how do you mean?
Right. When the powers were in the castle, you had the blue Garuru guy who again had a bit of a love triangle, Yuri, and Otoya, Yuri, and Garuru form. But then there was the boy who was the green.
He's
form.
a mer boy.
Yeah, mer boy. But who was the purple one?
Or the big 6-foot Frankenstein guy.
Yeah, I can't remember who the character was for that.
He was the masseuse.
It's completely escaped me. It's so long since I watched it. Okay.
He was like the big butler of the house.
I remember there being a butler. Okay. Fair enough. But yeah, I thought that setting was very sort of simple yet effective for the dark gothic look.
Yeah. And the kid, even if he just wore like he wore even school outfit, a black
he
and
had
white
like a green school uniform,
and it worked. It worked.
Well, because he's a boy at the end of the day, I guess.
But it worked. It's almost like something either Kyorija or Go on Green in a school outfit,
No,
and it
Go
worked
Green
with such a
wasn't
youth.
a schoolboy, was he?
Who?
I don't think Go on Green was a schoolboy. I mean,
Whatever,
Kyoryu Green
but he
was
was
a
that
schoolboy.
young.
I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so what? So all right, let's see. I remember, if anything, even though I consistently say I don't remember the DVDs, I do remember the DVD for Kiba. I also remember watching the net movies for Kiba, and then you got the main movie. Although I'm not sure. I may or may not have seen the team up with. Actually, no, I did. The team up with Deka and Kiba. Did I say Deka? I meant Deno and Kiba. Yeah, I know. Bloopered. No. Yeah. So those are the 4 films around the Kiba time.
Okay.
So
First off,
So you saw the movie. You saw the main movie, right?
and I've seen believe it or not, I have seen the Deno Kiba team up, and honestly, I just barely. No.
I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure I've seen it, but I don't remember.
Okay, so
Yeah.
while you're trying to remember, good luck with that. My opinion on the additional rider/riders that Dark Kiva, the fact that they did a toned or a darker tone of Kiva, I thought was brilliant. However, when they introduced King, the white one, no, I did not
No.
like that.
Because I liked how, I mean, we're talking about the film. I liked how they brought Wataru and Otoya together. I thought, yeah, this is going to add a good dynamic, and I didn't feel disappointed. I thought the journey was a bit weird going into that castle, and then you got like some giant Kiba at the end. That was nuts. I
No, no,
like
no.
that.
King was in the series.
Okay, I'm trying to think. So which ride are you talking about?
The white one.
Yeah, okay.
Basically, in my opinion, I think they should have just left it as Kiva, Ixa, and Dark Kiva, and you don't need King.
Okay, well, I guess I had to round the series off somehow.
Still. But I love the fact that also they did a... now, I'm going to use a bad example here, a very bad example, but like, you know how we mentioned in Gaim that Mugen had the... basically the life-devouring fruit where he uses that dark grape and it just kills them
Yeah,
off.
yeah, I remember that.
I love the fact that Dark Kiva was something similar that what's it when Otoya uses it, it like sleep, eat, you know, kill kind of thing.
Yeah.
I loved it, and the fact that he still kept into himself, didn't tell anyone, and yet still, I loved it.
Yeah, I agree.
I loved it. I loved it. I loved it, and just what else? Yeah. Yeah, I just if I had any qualms on any other day, I would say the action. But the point is the story and the characters are so good that the action and fighting scenes could be overlooked. That is what frightens me, is how good. I don't want to say any more about the story because it's that good that this one I highly recommend. Even
Agreed.
if you're a first timer at Master Rider, this is one you should start for a good series.
Absolutely. I was impressed by Kiba.
Yeah.
Alright, I will sort of move it on to, again, the DVD that they released. They had where you got such a dark theme through the series, they made the DVD very light-hearted, and they allowed Otoy sort of like more freedom to be a bit more sort of innuendoous, if you will. And I don't know, it saw like some random exercise routine. But then the net movies kind of developed on what was going on in the series. I liked how that went. And then I'll let you talk about Climax Decker if you want. But the main movie again, I liked how they did sort of give Wataru and Otoya some sort of joint time. Wait a minute, I'm trying to remember. The Decker film was like a detective one, wasn't it? What are you typing?
I am wrong.
You're wrong. On what?
And okay, first off, when I mentioned about Kamen, the additional rider which was unnecessary, I called it King. I'm wrong. It's actually Saga.
Yeah,
Master Rider
okay.
Saga. I'm completely wrong. So
I'll be honest, I
apologise for
couldn't
that.
even remember. I just remember there was like the chess pieces, but go on.
That's what I'm just apologising first off that I got that wrong.
Okay.
But I will also say that I felt it was unnecessary.
Sure.
So I'll just continue with that. In regards to the Deno Kiva mashup
I do
thing.
remember the detective mashup thing. But that's all I really remember of it.
I don't honestly really. No, that's all. No, it's like that's it for me. Um, otherwise, yeah, overall, if anyone wants to watch a good Master RyuKiva's, not for the action, but for a good story, what?
Yeah, Kiba.
Yeah, good story, good characters, and if you can overlook the action, that's it. Honestly, this is a good
Alright.
time that you do
Alright,
not
so to
need.
sum up, what did you think of the ending of Kiba, how it finished the last 5-10 episodes?
Loved it. Even if the last fight was an utter boredom, I actually loved the way that the end ended. I'm not going to say why. I'm not going to spoil it, but I loved it. I loved how it ended. And I've got to pick my words carefully here. It just, it's one of those series that if I wanted to, if I start it, I could just marathon it in probably about
A few
half a
days.
week.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, I marathon Kiba as well. And, you know, I very liked the finale where, again, massive
Careful.
spoiler alert, yeah, no, massive spoiler alert, is how you then got, you know, Wataru's son turning up in Kanye West style glasses. That was funny.
I don't remember that, but anyway.
Yeah, because he was fighting Neo Vangaias or something. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so I absolutely loved Kamen Rider Kiba.
Okay, well, I don't remember the whole sun thing, but anyway, yeah. No, but regardless, it was, I just loved it. And yeah, again, I didn't need coffee. I didn't need any Red Bull or anything, any energy drink to keep me up because it was that good.
Coolios.
I mean, can you think of any other qualms? Because I'm just trying to rattle my head on this one.
I'm trying to remember, like, there was a rival, not the
No,
Garuru guy.
actually, I'll rephrase that. My only other thing I didn't like, but again, with everything else being so good, if I had to nitpick and look for something bad, the add-on to the motorcycle when it had that stupid bronze booster
Go on.
was unnecessary.
Don't remember that.
But, yeah, exactly. But it can be overlooked because everything else was absolutely good.
The only character I don't remember liking, I remember not liking rather, not the Garuru guy, but there was another guy in the Wonderful Organisation that just kept hating on Otoya when I really liked Otoya as a character. I remember not liking him.
Wasn't
And
he the
then,
chief?
no, not the chief, I don't think. And then when Wataru joined in present day, I remember him sort of like, he was purring on Megumi. I remember that. I was just like, what a dirty piece of scum. Anyway. Now, I think those are two different characters. What am I on about? But, yeah. I think apart from that sort of shifty male character that they had hanging around Wonderful Organisation, again, you know, I kind of felt that the Wonderful Organisation was just like, you know, I could see what they were going for in terms of, you know, when you got like, what is it, the smart brain in Fires and Zector in Kabuto, you know, they were going, you know, whatever sort of organisation you've got that's a staple to Kamen Rider, they were clearly going for something different with this Wonderful Organisation.
No, I love the cheesiness in that, rather than having your big secret underground, like...
It was just an everyday cafe, of course.
Yeah, I love that. And secondly, the name of it being a wonderful organization. It just
I
added
think it
that
was
comic
I think it
humor
was a
to it.
piss take, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is, but they pulled it off. I loved it. I love the fact that they called it Wonderful Organization. I love the fact that they pulled it off by calling it Wonderful Organization, and the fact that they kept it so
What low key?
cheesy yet simple in keeping it in a cafe, in a gym, wherever they're going to meet. I just thought it was brilliant.
I kind of felt, even though they kind of like dropped the gym aspect and the whole, oh, our riders need to be fit. You kind of look at how, say, for example, Wizard has it in an antique shop. I just kind of felt that was better done. How Deno did it in, like, again, a cafe as well. It felt, I kind of preferred that vibe to the vibe. Yeah, I can see the positives in the wonderful organisation being in a cafe / gym, but I kind of didn't go with the vibe as well, and especially the way that the characters were very cliquey. I didn't quite like that. And again, you got like an outsider like Wataru. So again, there was a very sort of hostile feel to it, which I didn't quite like. But
No,
I could still see what they were going for. I didn't mind it as much. And, you know, obviously when they were in the cafe itself, that was obviously a good place for their interactions.
no, the thing is I saw the meetings at the gym as something different to the way I think you're seeing it, in that I saw it as, okay, I'm going to do a bit of training, we're going to do the meeting here while I'm training kind of thing, as opposed to them actually training, if you know what I mean. It's like the chief's going to be doing a bit of exercise, we'll do the meeting while he trains kind of thing. You know, that's how I saw it. Not the way, you know, for health and fitness sake for everyone else, but it just happens to be
again, they had to be in peak form to be Ixa. Don't forget that. So it was part of the episode's sort of construct.
Nevertheless, I at the end of the day, I thought it was so unique to actually love a Master Rider series and not love the action, but love the story.
Okay, I'll go with you on that one, because again, the action was very minimal, minus the fact that Kiba had like the different weapons for different forms. But again, Deno had like, again, coming off the back of Deno,
that including his super form, he had 4 forms. 5 if you including the clusterfuck of a form. But anyway, you know, the fact he has so many, and yet the action was so minimal, and the story was so high. It was like, whoa, this is a series on its own.
Totally.
I mean, I can just leave it at that. Honestly, I have nothing else to say, because I can just gush this constantly if I wanted.
Well, I think we'll wrap this one up. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in, and we'll see everyone next time. Peace through the cam. Oh, go on.
Yeah, for the rude, exit on that one, and thank you for joining us, and I've been Master Bushido, and that's been my Toku Bro, flavor fucking man, whatever. Anyway, fist to the cam!
Fist to the cam! Alright, see you all next time.